and welcome back to Love Your Food. This week we have an amazing recipe that is vegetarian and vegan if you leave off the feta cheese. This is a radicchio and cabbage salad with a tahini dressing, and the real star of this is that tahini dressing that we're going to show you how to make in this video. We've done lots of slaws before, so you know how we handle cabbage and radicchio, so here we go. We're starting with, obviously, some radicchio and some cabbage. We have some onion powder and some garlic powder. We are going to use the juice of a lemon, some tahini, some chopped parsley or cilantro, some feta cheese, and some of these chickpeas still in the juice they were cooked in, and some olive oil. So we're going to get started with the dressing right away. We're going to start with the lemon juice, the onion powder, and the garlic powder. Now remember, these are onion powder and garlic powder, not onion salt or garlic salt. Now we're just going to add the juice from the, this is the liquid that these were cooked in. So we're just going to add just the liquid. The chickpeas are going to add it to the salad. Now we didn't have quite enough of the regular tahini to fill this quarter cup measure. So we are making up the rest with this black tahini, which has a slightly different flavor and also quite a different color, as you can tell here. It will make the dressing quite a different color. Normally it's sort of a browny, beige, kind of creamy color. With this, it does make the dressing a sort of a gray color, which some people might not like all that much, and it does make it a little less bitter because the black tahini is a little sweeter than regular tahini. So here's our olive oil. And of course, as usual, all of the amounts are going to be in the description below. And then we're just going to give it a little stir with our Bamex here, our stick blender. Now, if you prefer to whisk this or do it manually, you certainly can. We're getting it to about here. We find the stick blender just does it in a jiff. It's really, really fast. So now's a great time to give it a taste and make sure it tastes how you want. If it needs some adjustment, now is the time to do it. So we're going to add a little bit of salt to that. And give it another good blend until it's all well combined. Give it another little taste, and we're ready to go with that. So from here, we're just going to get the rest of our veggies ready. So we're going to get started with the radicchio. Now for a salad for two, normally we will do about a quarter of a head of radicchio. We're going to cut the stem part out, the sort of a tough stem area there. And we're just going to give it a nice little slice along the short edge there, so we have those nice little sort of pre-sized slaw shavings of the radicchio. And also it helps to have a good sharp knife for this. The cabbage, this is one of those really interesting Chinese cabbages that are sort of short and wide. So we're using about a 1/12, honestly. So if you cut it in three, cut it in six, and then half of one of those sixes, that's about what we're using. So the easiest way to do this is to pull the middle bit out and then just cut it on a bias. You can see Chef Caleb here, just cutting it on a bias, and then you get the right size of shred for your slaw. And again, with this kind of cutting, it really helps to have an extremely sharp knife. So we're just going to slice that, and this is the little middle bit, so we're just going to make sure that that's all well cut. Just a nice fine slice on there. And then if you find that everything's still a little, maybe too long, not quite the same size, just give it a good chop down the middle. That's about right. And that's done. So all that's left now is to deal with the parsley. So we're just going to give that a pretty rough chop. Again, cilantro is another great replacement for the parsley in this. It is delicious in this recipe for sure. So that's the slaw. That's the salad pretty much done there. Once you've added the parsley, you have the cabbage and the radicchio together. We're going to add the chickpeas on top of that. And then, other than the feta cheese, this is a completely vegan recipe. We like to add the feta cheese on top. It adds this really interesting flavor and texture difference. You can always garnish this with something like toasted walnuts or toasted pine nuts, or even sunflower seeds. Those will all work really, really well. So we're going to add a dollop of that nice dressing we made and just give it a good stir until it's all well combined. Give it a little taste, and at this point you want to add any seasoning, so we're going to add a little sprinkle of salt and some fresh ground black pepper. And then just give it a nice good stir to make sure that it is all well combined. And from there we're just going to nicely place that on a plate. And you can see it's all well covered. It doesn't take a lot of that dressing to go a long way. It's got a quite intense flavor. It's really quite delicious, and it doesn't take much. And then we're just going to garnish that with a little bit of the feta cheese that we've cut up here. And again, if you stop before you add the feta cheese, this is completely vegan. And that's it. That's the whole thing. We love this with some olives, even a little bit of hummus on the side, and just a fantastic summery kind of light salad. Completely vegan if you leave off the cheese. Garnish with a little bit of green onion, and you're ready to go. If you like this recipe, please do like and subscribe. And if you have any recipes you'd like to see Chef Caleb try on the channel, please let us know in the comments below. And remember to love your food.